Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you're all doing well. I am so excited to do my non-spoiler review for The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, along with my read with me, because this was the vote that received, or the book that received the most votes for the read with me when I did a poll a couple months ago. But before we get into all that good stuff, I have to give two shout outs. One, I recently got the bedhead, what's it say? A wave we go. Clever. It's only $24 and this is second day hair for me. So it's just cute. I can sleep with braids in for like 70% of my hair. And then I kind of just use the waver on like the top parts and it's amazing. I love it. I'll link it down below if anybody else wants to try it. Slash doesn't have much time to get ready because that is the moral of the story, is I needed a cute way to do my hair. Now that I'm a mom of two, this took me all of 7 minutes. Second thing that I'm going to shout out, I'm just excited that I'm filming right now at like an acceptable time to drink. Whenever I'm filming, it's like when my kids are napping and it's like noon. So right now it is evening and we're about to go on a date night. So I poured a glass of wine and it's actually really good. It's a Pinot Noir. Don't worry, I have not drank this much wine. We opened this last night, but it's called Caramel Road. So I just wanted to give it a shout out. Pinot Noir, amazing. Actually, really tasty. So grab a drink yourself, whether it's water, tea, literally anything, and buckle up because we're gonna get started. Okay, also, this is just some exciting news. The last one at the wedding has arrived. I got this from Book of the Month. I loved Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Actually listened to it on audio. But then I have found out that you're supposed to actually physically read it because there are spooky pictures in that one. So read it if you haven't yet because it's amazing. One of my favorite thrillers, I think either last year or the year before. But this just came in and it's a thin thriller, which is my fave. Oh my gosh, I was like, what is that? Is that like, no, it looks like there's somebody put their cute, adorable little dirty fingers on here. Anyways, it's thin, amazing, can't wait to read it, super excited. So that's the next thriller that I plan on reading. But let's go ahead and talk about The Turn of the Key. If you're here for the book chat part, just look in the time, or just look in the description below and I'll have a timestamp for you. And that's just all my thoughts while reading. So that's perfect for people who have already read The Turn of the Key, or people who have it on their shelves and they want to like read it together, like a little buddy read, because I break it into 3 parts and then it's all my thoughts on each segment of the book that I broke up. So yeah, that is later in the book, or sorry, in the video, oh my gosh. And I will let you know when that's coming up. But if you want to just watch all of the video, then amazing. Or slash, if you're only here for the non-spoiler, amazing as well, because that's what I'm going to start with. So this book was actually published in 2019 and it's one that I've been eyeing. I feel like you could get it through Book of the Month. I don't know if you can still, but I'm pretty sure it was like an add-on. But really it's just one that I've been eyeing for a while, and then I ended up buying it through Tertulia. So I can link that down there for you guys as well. I've stopped buying books on Amazon to just try to promote, indie. But recently, I think it was in one of my wrap-up videos, I did a poll between this and 3 other books, and this one won for a dedicated review. So that's why I am filming this right now. It took me, I'm looking at my notes down here. If you're new here, this is the norm. I'm always looking down here. So it took me about a week or 2 to read. I was highly invested. That's actually pretty quick for me in terms of like a book, just because parenting / teaching, it's like, you don't got a lot of free time. It's 336 pages paperback, which is like the perfect amount for a thriller. I love anything that's under like 350. If it's over, I start to feel like it's a little bit too long. I don't know, I've always been that way. But I do want to give you my spoiler-free synopsis instead of reading I was actually just going to say inside flap, but there isn't one. So good thing I typed up my own one. But basically I said it's about this woman named Rowan. She goes to work for this family and they basically live in a smart house. Like it's just, they're the founders of this certain type of technology and everything. It actually sounds really cool. Like she gets there and just everything is like done for her. It's amazing. It's a smart house. Cool. Great. the parents go to like some sort of convention and she's stuck at the house and she's watching the three girls. So yeah, much to what you're probably anticipating, stuff starts to go haywire there, creepy. And I'm talking creepy stuff really starts to happen, and it's just her there and these three little girls, and you are just in for a roller coaster of a ride, let me tell you. It's really good. I loved it. On my rating scale, I'm giving it a go get this book now, especially if you're in the mood for a bingeable thriller, because that's exactly what this was. I wasn't able to binge it, but had I been able to, I probably would have read it in like 2 days, right? Really good. Loved it. I felt like it was fast paced. I feel like I ended up just enjoying all parts of it. I actually loved the conclusion too, which typically I'm like, that's where I really am super picky. It's like, okay, I can enjoy the ride for sure. I can enjoy the journey, but like, does it wrap up nicely? Like, that's where I really start to get picky, and I actually did enjoy how it wrapped up. So I feel like I can confidently say that if you guys were to read this, I think I'm almost confident that you would enjoy it too. Some non-spoiler things that I really appreciated were, it is a secluded setting, which I'm always a massive fan of in my thrillers, because when stuff is happening, I feel like, okay, it's almost like a Nancy Drew feel for me. A non-spoiler thought that I have for this book that I really enjoyed was the setting. I loved that it was just a secluded setting. They're at this smart house. They're on a rather large piece of land. And I feel like when thriller books have secluded settings, it lends itself to almost that Nancy Drew kind of feel where, you know, our main character is there. Maybe they can piece all of the clues together. Like, you know, it's just a single timeline. I'm sure there's a better word for that, but it's not past and present, which was like refreshing, because I feel like so many thrillers have that dual timeline. But yeah, it was really, I just enjoyed the setting. I was trying to figure out the house. I felt like I was there, and I'm almost like saying to the main character, like, this is where you should check next. Like, what are you doing? Like, use this, you know, use these clues to your advantage. But yeah, overall, I honestly really liked it. So I already told you guys my rating. On Goodreads, it has a 3.92 star rating and 300K ratings collective, which I actually thought, because I was like, okay, this is a Ruth Ware, it's gonna have a ton of ratings. I felt like that was lower, but then I was looking up some of my favorite Alice Feeney books, and she has like around like 500K. So I was like, okay, it's not too far off, but I don't know. When I initially saw that, I was like, wow, that's kind of low, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not on Goodreads a whole ton. But yeah, anything close to like a 4-star on Goodreads, I feel like is a great sign. And this has a 3.92. So like I said, I feel like you guys would really enjoy it. If you're here to watch the spoiler chat of the video, that is coming up right now. If you're not here for that, I will link a playlist up here where you can check out some of my other videos, especially if you're new here. I would love if you could hit that like and subscribe button and that little bell so you're notified when I post new bookish related videos. But we are going to go ahead and start chatting with some spoilers. All right, guys, so I'm going to start on everything I wrote for my thoughts on pages 0 to 100, okay? So that's where we're going to start. If you're reading it for the first time, I will put specific timestamps for all parts of the book. I just break it up into 3. So this is the first part, okay? So when the book first starts off, I have a feeling that Rowan is just going to be spied on 24/7. I'm like, okay, it's a house with smart technology. There's probably cameras everywhere. Like, I just have this feeling that she's never going to have any privacy whatsoever. I felt like the mom, Sandra, I think it was, she put on like such a good facade of like, oh, we're a normal, like, happy family. And I'm like, are you though? Like, are you really going on this work trip, or are you going to be in some shed at like the way back of the property, like purposefully messing with Rowan for some weird sort of like experiment of sorts? I don't know, but I just didn't fully believe that whole spiel, that an act that she was putting on. So then there's that weird scene with Bill, the husband, and I felt like he was hitting on Rowan when they were in the kitchen and Sandra had left, and I feel like they had wine at the time, and he was trying to get close to her, like their knees were touching or something. I'm like, this is weird. Like, are you doing this with all of the nannies that you hire? At this rate, I feel like we're not learning a whole ton about Rowan. And I'm like, is Rowan even her real name? We're getting the feeling that this is a big deal for her that she got this job. Like, she really, really, really wanted this job. And it makes me think, like, okay, have you been applying to other jobs and you haven't been getting them? Like, it alludes to possibly like a shady past. Like, I don't know. I just feel like Rowan isn't her real name at this point. Then we have our lovely Maddie, the amazing child, who says that the ghosts won't like it. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, I wonder if she's talking about the technology. Like, I wonder if something weird is going on in the house where she thinks that the house is haunted, but really it's just weird stuff that like either the parents are doing on their end with the tech, or like the tech is like oddly malfunctioning or something. But at this point in time, I don't feel like the house is actually haunted. But unfortunately, the little girls feel that way. So all of Rowan's letters to this Mr. Wexham guy make us believe that like something's going to happen to one of the children, because it seems like she's being framed for like one of their murders. And I just don't love that. I'm like, what's going to happen? Who's going to die? Like, hopefully no one. But yeah. Then I'm looking at my notes here. It says that she heard footsteps one night and alludes to the fact that all of the other nannies have quit after just like a couple of weeks working here. I'm just like, what's going on? And then I just keep going back to this theory that I feel like the parents are in on this somehow. And like, are they walking around at night? Like, what is happening? Okay, so that was all of my thoughts on pages 0 to 100. And now I broke it off onto pages 101 to 212. I think that's because we had a chapter break. Yes, confirmed. Chapter break. That's why I left off at 212. So if you're reading along with me, these are all of my thoughts until or through page 12. So basically, she's out in the grounds and she loses Maddie and Ellie right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you gotta watch them. I'll look at my notes a lot for this one because it's like a decent paragraph, but she hears that scream on the monitor. And like, okay, first off, being a mom, like, you're always listening to the monitor. And this is just, okay, now I'm going to get in a side tangent because this literally just happened 2 nights ago. Okay, I'm looking at my husband because he's probably going to start laughing at me over there because I just told him this. I think it was last night. I went through a rabbit hole, down a rabbit hole of just like reading people's spooky, scary stories online on Reddit. You can just go down, like, if you're familiar with Reddit, you know how it is, okay? Like, you just click on something and you're like, whoa. It was 9:30 at night. And then I looked, the next time I looked at the time, it was like 11. By the way, this was a work day. I was like, whoa, I'm usually sleeping by 9:30. What the heck? Anyways, freaked myself out. Okay, go to bed. An hour goes by. My daughter decides to start like sleep laughing. Okay, so the dog hears her on the monitor. This is the same night. It took me forever to fall asleep because I freaked myself out. And then I look at the monitor and she's like sleep giggling. And I'm like, oh my God. If she wasn't so cute, this would be creepy. I was a little creeped out because she's never done that. I'm like, she picks all of the nights to do it right now. Okay, anyways, back to the story. She hears this blood-curdling scream. Okay. The scream didn't like wake Petra, which I thought was weird. But it makes me think that the scream wasn't coming from the house, but was like sent to her, like somehow through the monitor. Again, making me, put coins into the bank thought process of it somehow being like Bill and Sandra doing this to Rowan. We're clearly getting the vibes that Maddie and Ellie do not want to get close to Rowan. Ellie sometimes does, but you can tell that Maddie is the ringleader and is just really encouraging her to like not, dabble into that. And I'm wondering if it's because they've had such a plethora of nannies that Maddie probably knows, like, we're all just going to get hurt if we get close to her, which is a really sad thought. So now we're at the part where the key to the house goes missing. And in my notes I wrote, could it be Jack? Is it Jean McKenzie? Is it the girls messing with Rowan since they clearly don't like her? But like, why, you know? And then I'm thinking like, how would the girls have gotten it? Maybe like Maddie lifted Ellie up on her shoulders and she could like reach it. But why? Like, are they just doing it to cause mischief? Is Jack doing it for some reason? Like, I can't think of a motive for anybody. I thought it was so weird that Sandra called over the house speakers when Rowan and Jack were having pizza together. Like 1000% she was watching them. Like, that's so weird. Then we have that weird scene where like the lights turn on in the middle of the night and there's like screamo music blasting through the speakers. And I'm just like, wait a second. Like, this has to be Bill and Sandra. Like, there's no way like one of the girls could be doing this. I have some thoughts about Maddie. Part of me feels like Jack made a comment once that like she doesn't look like the other siblings and like behave like them. And I'm wondering if there's some sort of past there, like maybe she's adopted. I don't know. I just feel like Maddie doesn't fit into this family puzzle. I'm still thinking it's Sandra and Bill causing all this drama and all this crazy stuff to happen. Because when Rowan hears the slight like pause and then like the pacing of the creaks, I'm like, it sounds like it's a rocking chair. It almost sounds like one of them is sitting somewhere in like a rocking chair and just going back and forth and stuff at night and like trying to creep her out. I don't know. I know it's not the girls because she can see them on the monitor. All right, so these are my thoughts on 213 to finish. I will say I was so invested in the book at this time that I like stopped taking notes because I was just rushing to finish it. But basically, I knew something was off with Rowan for sure. I did not anticipate that Bill was her father. That's so weird. It's so weird, especially because he was hitting on her in the beginning of the book. Ew, ick. Then I was super sad that poor Maddie was pushed, not on purpose, but pushed to her death by little Ellie. That was crazy. I actually loved that Ruth Ware ended the book with that little, the little, like, you can tell it's like the speech to text note because it starts with Dave Owen instead of like she's trying to say Dear Rowan. Only they say that your name is Rachel now, which also remember in the beginning of the book, I said, I don't think her name is Rowan. Like, I think something's going on here. The fact that she was just trying to like see who her dad really was is just crazy because I really did not anticipate that. Sorry guys, I really don't have a whole ton for the third part of the book. Like I said, I was just like speed reading through it, but I ended up really liking it. I like how she wrapped up with that letter from little Ellie at the end, and it's probably my favorite Ruth Ware book. So yeah, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what your favorite Ruth Ware book is. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.